Hello and welcome to the class that's going to teach you how to make freaking iPhone apps. Oh, I'm so excited that you're here. Jen and I have so much to teach you, and we're just thrilled that you would sign up for our class. So first off, welcome and thank you very much. Next, Jen and I have a ton of stuff in this class, and we want to cover, kind of just an intro to the class, telling you where you can get what pieces and kind of how to eat this class because it's a whole lot of content. So we have a section called goals of the class, but before we get into that, before we kind of set up where we're going with anything, we just want to jump into programming real quick. We just want to help you make your very first app. It's not going to be, super flashy, do everything app. It's going to be very basic, but we just want to show you that you can make an app and it's not that hard. So I hope you're excited. I've loaded some excited gifs here. Yeah, this should be you right now. Freaking pepperoni pizza excited to make an iPhone app. So again, we're just going to make an app and then we'll go cover what the goals of the class are and yada, yada, yada. So first thing that we got to do is get a program from Apple called Xcode. And Xcode is a program that allows us to make iPhone apps. You have to have a Mac and you have to have Xcode in order to make apps. So it's really, really easy to get. Just open up on your computer the Mac App Store. So I'm going to come here, and here's the App Store. And all we're going to do is go over to the search box up here, and we're going to type in Xcode, and it should be this top result. Okay, here it is under Developer Tools. So let's just click on it. You can see I have an old version of Xcode, so I want to update mine. I assume yours is going to say Get. Xcode is a free program. You do not have to pay for it. So don't get bamboozled by other people. People have like training for Xcode, just other things that have Xcode in it that try to get similar icons like that one. But no, get the Xcode that's free and from Apple. And you should be able to notice it's a huge download. Like this one's 3.59 gigabytes, so it's a doozy. So go ahead, just click on this button. Again, for me, it's update. For you, it's probably get. But as soon as you do this, it will, ask for your Apple password you use to set up your Mac, and it'll do everything you need to do to start installing that. So once that is done installing, you should see it inside of your apps. So here inside of my apps, you can see it's waiting to update that. And throughout the class, you're going to see whenever we use Xcode, it always says Xcode beta. And that's because Jenna and I spent the summer making the class, and we were using the beta version of Xcode before it went live so that we could help you right when Xcode went live. So if there's any changes, we've made notes to the videos, so it's not like our content's behind with anything. But if you notice that our Xcode has a red stripe on here, that's because we're using the beta version of Xcode. But again, no need to worry on that. If there's any changes, we're going to update the class, and it shouldn't be any worries to you. So once that is done installing, you're going to come down to your apps and you're going to click on Xcode. And once Xcode's open, you're going to have this welcome screen. So now I'm going to switch you back to video that Jen and I had previously recorded that helps teaching you how to make this very first app. But since Xcode now has become public, I just want to show you the new way to download this versus the old way, which was much more complicated. So it's good that you're using this one. So without further ado, let's get back into making our first app. So again, this is Xcode. This is the software you'll be using to make iPhone apps. And this very first app that I want you to make is just to kind of give you the little confidence boost that says, I can make an app, and it's really not that hard. You can make it very hard, and things obviously can get difficult if you want them to be, but at the end of the day, apps aren't rocket science. Apple has done a ton of stuff to make this as easy as possible for people, and I'm going to make sure that you kind of can build this confidence and say, yeah, I can make an app. So come here to create a new Xcode project. There's, get started with a playground. We'll talk about those later in the class. And the existing project, we don't need that. We want this middle one, create a new Xcode project. Okay, so come here. We want single view application. Make sure that's checked. It should be there by default. We're going to hit next. And for the product name, this is just saying, hey, what do you want the name of your app to be? I'm just going to call it my first app. How about that? And organization name, that's just whatever your name of your company, this organization identifier, just put whatever was already there. It's not a big deal. We'll talk about it later. Language, make sure you have Swift selected. For some reason it's on Objective-C. We want Swift. And device, make sure that that's iPhone. Okay. And we want to uncheck all of these checkboxes. Okay. So none of these are checked. And once that's all there, we'll hit next. And it says, hey, okay, where do you want to save this new app that you're making? And I'm just going to put it on my desktop. It's empty and it needs to be filled up. So, okay, it says Xcode beta would like access to your contacts. Apple, I don't know why you would want that, but I'm not going to allow that. Okay. If you have the same question, you can decide what you want to do, but I'm not about to do that. Okay, so now that we've done this, are you ready for the magic? Without doing anything else, go up here, make sure this says My First App, and then over here, it's hopefully will say something like iPhone 6, but if not, click on this. If you have a phone plugged in, it might be selected that, but just pick something in this iOS simulator like an iPhone 5 or iPhone 5S, just something inside of here. And this is basically a list of devices that you can run on a simulator. So you run on your computer a simulated iPhone to test your apps out here. So just pick one of these and hit this play button. So without doing anything at all, we're just going to run our very first app. We haven't written a single line of code, but this new program shows here up the bottom. That's the simulator that simulates our app on a device, and you'll see that very shortly. And here it is. And look at it. It's just a white screen because we haven't written a single line of code, but this is an iPhone app. It really is. Like, you can see the stuff at the top of the battery. Like, you literally could run this on your phone. It won't do anything. It's a completely blank app, but this is an app. I mean, I don't know, like what, like 20, 30 minutes ago, you didn't even know what Xcode was. Now you've downloaded it and you've like made your very first app, but we're not going to stop there. I'm going to show you how to even like, do a couple quick things without knowing anything. And you're going to be like, wow, I can do this. So come back to Xcode here. And on the left side, go to the main.storyboard. This is a file where we can kind of show how things look. So it might look like there's nothing here, but you're going to have to zoom out. So if you're on a laptop, if you do kind of the pinch thing, you can, zoom in and out with that. If not, if you're like really zoomed in here, you can, scroll around till you get to the edge and you can right click and say, hey, zoom to 25% or whatever it is. But this just shows our very first screen of the app right here. That's that white background we had. So if you double click, it will zoom in here a little bit, and let's go ahead and add some things to our app. So on the bottom right here, if you hit this circle with the square inside of it, this shows the different things we can put in our app. So you can go ahead and scroll all along these really cool things. But let's go up and let's just start adding some things. Let's maybe take a button and you just click and drag this onto this white screen. Let's maybe put a segmented control out there. Maybe a text field. Oh, a slider. That's fun. I'm gonna put a switch too. Like, why not? Turn down for what? You know what I'm saying? So now that we've added these couple of things, go ahead and hit play. And this is going to test this new version of our app with all these little cool doohickeys in there. And look, now in the simulator, like if you click the button, you can see it looks like it's doing something. You can move the slider. We can start typing stuff into this little text field. Like, we can change these buttons. We can hit the switch here. Like, this is pretty cool. Like, obviously nothing's happening when we're doing this, but it's like you start to get a grasp of like, yeah, like if I can think of an app, I can drag out the things I need and start to build that. Like, it's really not that big of a deal. And to kind of just put the final magic on this first little app, we're going to make it so that when we click this button, the background of this first screen changes, okay? So go up here to where these two circles are. This gives us a split screen. And if when you did that, this little guy became really small, go back and hit these lines to go back to a full screen thing. And we're going to hit this to remove that little side menu. We can always bring it back out by clicking on it, but this will just give us more space. So once we've gotten rid of that sidebar, go back and hit the circles again. Now we have a little bit more room to work with. All we're going to do is select the button here, okay, that we have here on our little app screen, and we're going to hold down the control button. So go into the bottom left of your keyboard and look for the word control. It should be to the right of the function key and to the left of the option key, and it's called control. So hold down the control key and then click and drag, and you'll see this blue line appear, okay? So I'm just going to do that one more time. Hold down the control key the whole time, then we're going to click and drag over onto this right side of the split view. And over here, you need to have this little blue line be in between where it says class view controller and before where it says override func view did load. Okay, so just click that. And we need to go up here to where it says connection, change this to action. And for the name, we're just going to say button tapped. Okay, and all that's happening is we're saying, hey, when this button gets tapped, we want something to happen. All right, so that's what we did by doing this control drag and change this to an action, saying what action do you want to have happen when this button is tapped. Okay, so go ahead and hit connect. All right, now we're going to go back to full screen here, okay, and click on view controller, and this is the code that we just dragged the thing into. So we have this thing that says IB action func button tapped, and you're probably like, what the freak is this? There's code everywhere. I don't know what's going on. Don't worry. I'm going to walk you through some stuff just to show you that it can be pretty simple to make an app and have things come alive. Okay, so stay with me on this. We're just going to hit enter after this line. So there's kind of a, see where these curly brackets are? We want to make a space in between there. And we're just going to type self.view.background color, okay? And as you're typing this background color, hopefully a view.background, and as I do this, it disappears. But there should be some autocomplete if you want that. There, it finally showed up, and if you hit tab, it will finish it for you. So we're going to say self.view.background color space equals sign. We're going to do another space. Now type UI color, okay, capital U, capital I, capital color, just like that, dot red color. And hopefully there's the autocomplete thing. You just hit tab to autocomplete. All right, so essentially what we've said is when the button is tapped, change the background color to be red. Now we had to do all this stuff. You're like, what the self.view, UI color, like button tap function, IB action, like I get it. The first time I looked at this, I was like, this is freaking alien language. Like, I don't know what this is talking about. But at the end of the day, we just said when the button's tapped, change the background color to red. Okay? So let's go back to our storyboard here. Remember, when this thing is tapped, it's going to change the background to red. So go ahead and hit play on your app here. And we'll wait for the simulator to pop up, and it's cool, you know, we got all the switches, the first, the second, it goes back and forth. We could type stuff, but watch this. And are you ready for this? We're going to click the button. Dude, like, are you kidding me? Literally an hour ago, you didn't know how to make an app, and you've just made an app that when you click a button, the background color changes. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm pumped up. Like, that is cool. Zero programming experience, and you can see, like, it's not that bad. Like, we drag stuff out here to this place where we show what the screen's going to look like, and then we can do some code to make cool things happen. Now, like, obviously for other apps, like, it's going to be much more in depth than this. Like, you know, if we're going to make an app that you know, we can write down like journal entries and stuff, like, we're going to have really big one of these like text field things where we can type more stuff and we can save it, and there's going to be all sorts of code about how we're going to save that and whatnot. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, this is it. We pull things out here, put them onto our screen, and when we interact with these things, like hit the switch or click the button, like, or tap the button, like, then we do some code with it. Like, it's really not that bad. So Again, I didn't go into any big depth with this. I just wanted you to kind of get that sense of accomplishment that it's like, yes, I can do this. I can make an iPhone app. It's really not that hard. So, anyways, I really hope you enjoyed this. We're now going to transition and talk about like the goals of the class and how you can get the most out of this. I do think it's really important to talk about how to get the most out of this because I don't want you to just blindly go through all this and you kind of get lost in the details. I think if you follow this, kind of what Jenna and I are going to set up, you're going to really enjoy the class. So we're going to dive into that. But I just first wanted to kind of get you right into the guts of this, is saying, hey, you can do an app. So we'll now go talk about those goals. But congratulations on your very first app. It's completely hideous. It's something only a mother could love. But hey, you made an app.